Hello, I'm Kurt Lidke. I'm the Executive Director of Klamath Film. We are a nonprofit organization, Klamath Falls, Oregon. We organize the annual Klamath Independent Film Festival, which is just now wrapping up. This is day 3 of it, and I've gotten some inquiries about how exactly we're doing it during a global pandemic. We are the only film festival in the entire country that is able to have a traditional sit-down festival, but with limited capacity. That doesn't make financial sense for us. So we've also simultaneously created a virtual festival. So we're doing a hybrid event side by side. We're doing screenings here in the Ross Raglan Theater, and we are live streaming and doing our Q&As as a live stream through GoToMeeting with all of our filmmakers who can't attend in person. So it's this weird hybrid setup. I've been getting asked, how exactly do you do that? So I wanted to do a walkthrough of our tech setup to see how that may help out. First of all, welcome to the grand, historic 740-seat Ross Raglan Theater. So we start, of course, with a large screen and a projector. On stage, when we have filmmakers who are here in-house, we do have several mics here on stage that we make sure they are not touched. The volume is boosted on them enough that we can hear without the filmmakers having to actually hold a mic. Next up, we have multiple cameras set up. So our cameras are set up in a way to allow us to be able to view both our audience when they're asking Q&As as well as on stage. So I have a Canon Vixia right here that is pointing to a microphone in the audience. Now, we have touchless mics on both sides of our crowd with shotgun mics and just a spot on the floor where people can walk up and ask a question, and that way no one's touching a microphone. Here's a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K that is pointed at the stage. This is essentially our webcam that we use when we are doing our Q&As. And then we have a third camera over here pointed at our other stage microphone, or not stage microphone, but our other audience microphone up here. Now those cords are leading back into the theater's main soundboard. And this is where they're doing all of the lighting and the mixing and running DCPs of all of our films and trailers and whatnot through the main projector. So I do need additional staff from the theater to run their main system. But from their sound mix, everything then comes back into my gear. We have a projector that we are using for our Q&As so that if we have filmmakers who are not here in person, we can still do a Q&A by running GoToMeeting into a projector. So they go on screen. That sound is also fed through the soundboard and all the way through a big loop back into GoToMeeting so that our filmmakers can hear everything in the theater. Simultaneously, we're also live streaming that out through our site. So how that works is everything starts with this computer here. And we run a virtual meeting, Zoom or GoToMeeting, something along those lines. And the standard out for it is sending audio. And we have an HDMI. There's a capture card right there that you can see. That's actually coming in from the Blackmagic. So the Blackmagic is operating as a basic webcam. But then we have what's called an Elgato cam link. And I know there's a lot of wiring down there. But that right there, that little black thing that's connecting to the HDMI is an Elgato Camlink 4K, and essentially that is what loops all the way back into the system. It's a HDMI to USB adapter. So we have an out from this computer. There's a little box right there that has HDMI out, and that goes into a splitter. I know there's a lot of wires, but there's a HDMI splitter here. One signal goes to the projector, and the other signal comes into this box here, which is called an ATEM Mini Pro, and that essentially becomes the in. So there's an HDMI splitter, so we have 2 signals coming out of one from this computer. Audio comes into the main soundboard where they mix it, and then they send a signal from all of the microphones that we have on stage, as well as a wireless mic for me and our audience mics, through their soundboard where they mix, and then it comes into this little baby called the Rodecaster Pro. Now this is mainly used for podcasting, but you can also use it for live streaming events. It has 4 XLR inputs as well as a 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch audio input. And so this allows us to mix the various audio inputs that's coming from the computer for sound from GoToMeeting, as well as from all of the mixing that our tech is doing. That comes into the A10 Mini Pro, and the A10 Mini Pro is basically a switch, like a mini television switcher board. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMI inputs that we can cut to. So I have one that is a Blackmagic HyperDeck. Camera 2 would be our audience left mic. Camera 3 is our audience right mic, and camera 4 is the computer itself. So the GoToMeeting feed coming from this computer comes into here, and we can swap between showing on the live stream either the computer, or when we have an audience member asking a question, we can cut to the camera that is pointing to that microphone so that people on the live stream can see the person who's asking a question. Now that doesn't go up on the projector because we could potentially instead run that splitter off of here if we really wanted to, but really we're just running the splitters straight off the GoToMeeting stream so that the meeting itself is being projected onto the big screen so that people in the audience can see everyone that's on the call. And we've had some fun with that. We've done some calls with all of our filmmakers who are not attending in person. We were able to do like a group chat thing online and just talk about everyone's films and what they're watching and what they're looking forward to. And that was really fun. Some of the other gear that I have over here, the A10 Mini Pro has an audio in cable. So all of the audio that's coming from that soundboard of all of our various mics and then into this board, I have these MIDI outs turn into just a standard 1/8 inch jack. As long as that's on, it's getting the entire mixed feed of all of our different mics. So camera 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, for however we want to cut things while we are on stage talking. I'll have someone here to mix between camera 2, camera 3, camera 4 when we're doing our Q&As. Now next to that is what's called a Blackmagic HyperDeck, and this is usually used for recording but can also do video playback. And essentially I preloaded it with all of our trailers and our awards videos, and so you can just cycle through. And I actually set it up with what's called an Elgato Stream Deck, and this is something that's programmable. I'm using an accompanying program with it called Companion that lets me program each button on. Essentially, it's a shortcut key programmable board. So I added in videos for each of our award ceremonies. I added in videos for our feature film trailers as well as our event trailer. And so if I just press one of those, hit play down here, you can see that's the preview screen, and we have audio bars, and that signal is going to come out into camera 1 in our board. So if we wanted to show a video through our live stream, we can just use the HyperDeck here and swap to camera 1 as our HDMI input coming from the Blackmagic HyperDeck, and then that would go out onto our live stream. So computer feeds into there, and their audio comes into here, which comes into here, where we can swap between our various cameras. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3 is way down there. And then when we want to play videos, we have the controller right here and the HyperDeck right here, and basically it just runs off an SD card, so I have to preload stuff in there. Now it has to be ProRes 4444 for the codec, and it has to be 29.97 FPS in order for this thing to actually play videos, otherwise the videos get wonky. So just FYI on that. So this computer essentially we just use for the streaming side of things. We're using a company called Eventive to host our film festival, which some of you may be using for virtual fests. There's others as well. We considered Festivy and Film Festival Flicks and whatnot, but all of it comes into my laptop here. And we are running an operating software called Ecamm Live, and it's a subscription service that helps out with live streams. Now there's OBS, which is a free one, and it basically does the same thing. Ecamm is, I find, a little bit more user-friendly, but this computer basically does the live stream. So this one handles the meetings, And if we only have filmmakers that are on stage, we don't have anyone who's virtually attending, then we'll just use that camera as a webcam and run photo booth off of this, which will go through the whole system and then back into here for the live stream. So like right now, I could cut to our videos that we're playing through the hyperdeck. Now, I know it looks like it's just a smaller window, but this is actually the entire window that goes out via the live stream. So you have to connect to the custom stream key for whatever service that you're using. So in our case, we're using Eventive and we're live streaming through Eventive. So the Eventive site lets us build live streams into our schedule. So when we come down to our various events, like today, we're going to be doing a K-12 student film Q&A at 11:30 a.m. on September 20th, 2020. We would launch that and take the RTMP link that it generates for a unique stream key, punch it in here for add new stream key, go live in here, and then go live on here, and suddenly we are live streaming either our on-stage feed or our GoToMeeting feed. Now, if we're doing something with virtual, I'll be on stage with a Q&A, and we'll be projecting them on screen through the projector via GoToMeeting. So using that camera to have me as one like Zoom or GoToMeeting window, and then our filmmakers also up there at the same time. So this computer is doing the actual live streaming. The nice thing is the ATEM does a lot of the compression work, and it matches all frame rates and everything, so that you don't need to worry about the processor getting slowed down or whatnot, because this thing is going to basically do all the legwork, and all this computer has to do is actually live stream. Additionally, I brought in an extra monitor for the software control for the ATEM. Now, you don't necessarily need the software control. As long as you've got everything plugged in over here, you're good to go, but this adds a little bit more detail. You can see it has the 4 camera inputs. You can switch to color bars, or you can run videos off of here. Essentially, it acts like a TV studio. Over here are the videos that we have loaded into the hyperdeck that we can play. So we could play them off this screen if we wanted to, or we could just play them over here by just pressing play and cycling through which video we want to play. A couple of things that we had to troubleshoot to really figure out. One is that in order to make the ATEM Mini Pro and the hyperdeck all work together, is that they need to be on the same network. Wi-Fi doesn't really work either. It has to be Ethernet cables coming in. So there's a solution for that, and that is using a broadband router. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of these are going to my 2 computers, and 2 of these are going to the hyperdeck and the ATEM Mini Pro, and then you can just run one Ethernet cable in. So as long as the theater that you're doing stuff in has a Ethernet cable you can connect to, you should be golden. However, if they don't, or if you're doing something off-site, you'll probably want to pick up one of these. There's a mobile hotspot that specifically has an Ethernet plug. So as long as you can get an active hotspot with an Ethernet plug in it, then you could run the exact same thing of switchers with a broadband splitter, and then just run one plug out of the hotspot and connect the 2 computers, connect the ATEM, and connect the hyperdeck all to the exact same network. There's one other piece of equipment that I have here, and because they're all on the same network, the ATEM Mini Pro has an HDMI out, but I'm actually connecting it via USB-C to this computer, so that it's reading everything, and these 2 are interacting, and the Stream Deck is also connected to this computer for the control of the hyperdeck. But the HDMI out goes to my Blackmagic Assist. So any sort of video monitor that has an HDMI in, you could do the same thing, but the Blackmagics all kind of work together. So Blackmagic, Blackmagic, Blackmagic. And what this does as an out is it shows you the 4 camera inputs that you have on the ATEM Mini. So we have a real-time preview, as well as if we wanted to, we could record from here. And then it gives us a preview window for what's set to transfer to in our active window. So right now, we're on camera 1 to show this trailer that I had set up for the film, The Last Blockbuster. So that's running there. You can see here, program, that's what's showing. Preview would be on our A10 Mini, so red is what's active and green is what's set up for preview. So if I look over here, right now that trailer is running. Press 4, cut, and now that went to red, and now we've got on our live stream the view of my desktop on the desktop computer. So whatever's going to be up here, and so we would just maximize the window of the GoToMeeting call is going to loop through here and into our broadcast window. You can see over here, the trailer is now the preview and my computer screen is the broadcast. So if I'll cut back to 4. There we go. Hit stop on the hyperdeck. So that's it. That's the setup. We have a mic over here as well in case any questions come through the chat room that's affiliated with our live streams. So people who are watching the live stream can chime in with a question, and then the volunteer that I have running all of this can jump in, activate that mic, and then they can also be through the PA system. So it's kind of cool with the speaker setup in the theater here. When I'm on stage, I'm going through the PA and I'm going through the computers because it's all coming through the soundboard. So it goes out in the theater where everyone can hear it, and it's going out over our live stream. Same thing with these crowd microphones. And so we have a looped system that allows us to do a GoToMeeting and a Zoom call, project that onto the big screen, and at the same time live stream it out. So we can talk to all of our filmmakers if they weren't able to physically be here. We can do some Q&As if we do things into blocks where we will have some of our filmmakers on stage participating in an in-person Q&A, and I'm up there interviewing them, or we're taking questions from the audience. And at the exact same time, we're also having some of our filmmakers connected via GoToMeeting, going through the projector and being projected onto the big screen. So we'll have filmmakers on our onstage microphones there, and I'll be off to the side asking questions, while at the exact same time, we've got filmmakers up there and like a Zoom style call or GoToMeeting call that we can have multiple filmmakers chiming in from home and on stage, and they can hear audience members asking questions, they can hear me, and our audience is watching all of it over the live stream. So the people in house are able to catch everything, and the people watching on the live stream are able to watch everything. So hopefully this helps with other film festivals being able to figure out how can you present a film festival both in person, and maybe you do this at a drive-in setup if your state doesn't allow in-person theater stuff. I think right now we're actually the only film festival in the country that can do a traditional in-person sit-down, but we're adding this extra tech element of being able to present things via live stream. And I know others have done the on-demand style setup that Eventive and Film Festival Flicks and whatnot allow. But we're kind of taking it one step further of being able to have our filmmakers still fully participate. And they love that they can still feel like they're part of it even if they're not there. So being able to live stream in our filmmakers to participate, some also being on stage for those who traveled to be here in person, and some up on the big screen at the exact same time, gives more of that community feel where they can network, they can get to know each other, even if they're thousands of miles apart. So hopefully this helps with putting together future film festivals. It took a couple days to troubleshoot, and there's obviously a mess of wires, but it's really not as complex as you may think. You just need to have the right adapters. You have to have a little bit of know-how, and hopefully this helps, and make sure that you get the right connections. You got to have an Elgato cam link for the HDMI to USB. You got to have a capture card. You got to have multiple camera setups. An A10 Mini, they come in different models, but having a multi-camera switcher, being able to play videos, although we also loaded some DCPs for trailers and whatnot that are in the schedule. But being able to play videos on the fly into the live stream, we can do that there. Having a monitor is really key to see all of your various camera hookups. And of course, you need one computer to handle the actual meeting and one computer to handle the live stream. So it does take multiple computers to pull off, but hopefully that helps. Good luck with all of your film festivals, and appreciate the interest and folks wondering just how we pulled this off.